Today we are going to be going over this Antigua Winds Pro Saxophone, the ProOne Soprano Sax, the 6200 LQV. Very much excited to go over it, and I hope you do too.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Andrew, and we are here at Alamo Music. Don't forget to visit us at alamomusic.com, and please leave a like on the video. It helps us out in the long run. Today we got this amazing soprano saxophone in that little vintage lacquer.
Vintage lacquer.
Yeah.
So what brand are we looking at today?
This is a Antigua Winds. The warehouse is based out here in San Antonio, Texas, right here at home. They are one of the great brands coming out of Reliance Music. I'm going to say that, in my opinion, Antigua Winds has been one that helped me out a lot. Just a disclaimer and everything, a while back I was able to get into a little partnership with them that when I had to get a horn overhauled, one of their guys was really cool. They let me come in, try out a bunch of horns. It's like, just use this for the couple months that your horn's out. And I got to be able to do it. And
nice.
Ever since, I've been able to keep a good relationship with them. And here at Alamo Music, we're proud to sell them.
Killer. Yeah, it's not a brand a lot of people would be familiar with.
Not very. I mean, you got your usual brands, right? You got your Yamahas, your Selmers, even you got your like Asawas, Kyleworth, tons of brands and everything. What Antigua does and what they're very much known for is, like as far as like the saxophone niche community and all that kind of stuff, is going to be more really good, high quality instruments for student level prices. Okay. I would say they're very well known for the fact that they make a lot of the horns. They like with like Cannonball. They make a lot of the horns. They own a factory that makes the saxophones over in Taiwan, and they've made them for several large brands. Okay. But this is their venture in just naming their own stuff. In particular, this is the ProOne. We've already done a video on the ProOne alto saxophone, which I highly recommend checking out. I talk a lot about the kind of the design philosophies in that one. But I want to talk today about the soprano and in particular is the fact that this one's very much based on Japanese style sopranos. When it comes to Japanese style sopranos, it's actually a super easy, free-blowing instrument, and I highly recommend it for people that are going into that are alto players primarily, and get them the chance to kind of like double and everything like that. That's what this one does really well.
So in terms of the design, what's the difference between Japanese and say a French design?
Exactly, yeah. So French ones are going to be stuff like the Selmer Paris, right?
Right.
Selmer Paris is very well known for their saxophones. A big thing about it is going to be the bore. When it comes to French saxophones, one of the big design philosophies is that you grow within the resistance that you have. It's a big part of it. That has to do with the bore coming from the neck, also comes with a lot of the key action that's happening and everything. But when it comes to these, which is more along the lines of, say, like Yamaha design philosophies, or this kind of goes into more of a free-blowing thing, which makes it really easy for, say, like alto or tenor players to get into soprano. When it comes to soprano playing, and this is a kind of a trap that a lot of people fall into when it comes to it, since the mouthpiece is so small, a lot of people tend to bite really hard, and they'll think, oh, I'm not, the sound that's coming out is not what I want. Right. It's so easy to sound, and I hate to say it, but it's so easy to sound bad on the saxophone, on the soprano. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to it, once you get certain kinds of techniques down, certain embouchure changes, there are a lot of things you can do. And this horn, especially if you're playing at the professional level or when you're going into college and everything, and you need a soprano that's going to be reliable, this is the one, without a doubt. It has so many cool things about it. I really enjoy the fact that as far as like me, who I like to mess with my instruments a lot, like, getting with the screwdriver and everything like that, the trident arms right here on the B flat or the B and the B flat key, you're able to kind of mess with the angle of the key. So say if you want to, say you've got leaks or anything like that, you don't really have to go to the shop immediately. I think if you're on a professional level and everything, you have a lot of access to this. This also gives a lot more weight and power into putting those instruments down. The other thing too is that these keys also have what are called hybrid tone holes. They're rolled out on the tone hole right here. This gives a lot of, it's basically a lot easier to just play down the horn with the same amount of air. Sometimes it's harder to just announce these keys down here, these notes, so like your low B flats, your low Bs. It's kind of hard to sometimes do that, but this one, it's just easy. I think that's kind of what I want to kind of like the thesis statement of this instrument. It's one of the easiest horns I've ever played. I don't have to try very hard to make certain things happen, for sure.
I remember going to it was a lecture that a guy named Gerhard Meinl gave, and he's a tuba maker, and the way that he explained his design process is he put it in terms of a three-dimensional graph where you have response and then the pitch tendencies and then the color of the consistency of color through the instrument, and just talked about how difficult it is with a tuba, with I'm sure any instrument, trying to pin the tail on the donkey,
right.
Throughout the range of the instrument, keeping the response level so you're not having to do weird things down low or down high. The pitch tendencies are predictable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like when you go into this, you're spending real money now, right?
Right.
When you're getting these kind of instruments, and especially with professional instruments, this is the point where you are expecting the instruments to do certain things for you that you don't really want to mess with anymore. Intonation issues are always going to be a problem, especially with some of the student model instruments. But when you get into these level of instruments, say like this one, the ProOne Soprano, it's just not an issue. I have complete control the whole way through. Again, it's just easy to blow through. The other thing I like about it a lot, and it comes down to that kind of design philosophy, is when it comes to the neck, this is a full body soprano. There are going to be, if you get sometimes you get sopranos and stuff that come like the two necks, right? You have the one that's the straight and the one that's going to be kind of curved towards you.
Right.
There can be issues. Unless you have to be super careful with them. And if you're careful with them, they work out great. I mean, they're good necks. The thing is, though, with this one, especially on this soprano, this is part of that whole Peter Ponzel neck line. That he's a guy that basically designed this whole horn. He's also a huge part of saxophone culture when it comes to like neck design, body design. He did a lot of work with Kyle Worth way back when. He's been doing it for like 30-something years. It's fascinating. I totally recommend checking out his website. But with this one, that whole free-blowing statement I was making and everything, that's where this neck comes in really well. The bore is nice and large, so you can play through the whole instrument and you're making the full sound as long as you're having proper air support.
Right.
Right, which is always going to be a big part of it. For me, I'm playing on a Tone Edge 8 soprano saxophone mouthpiece for the demo, using like a clarinet ligature that I have, that I'm a very big fan of, and it's always did me well for the last 10 years, and I'm not going to change anything now.
Oh, really? That's a clarinet ligature.
Yeah, this is just, I couldn't find one that fit this mouthpiece like 10 years ago. My dad's a saxophone player, and I was going through his stuff real quick. I was like, where's a ligature? I just need one for this one thing. And I found this ligature, and I've been using it ever since. And it's done me well.
Wow.
I feel like I sound all right, and it works out good. Well, let's go ahead and have a listen to it real quick, see what we're looking at, and I hope you enjoy.
So Antigua's warehouse is here in San Antonio, right?
Yeah, man. I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
That's where I picked this up from.
So one thing we talk a lot about in prior videos is parts. Is there an advantage to having these guys in town?
Oh, absolutely. Because of our closer relationship with them, if there's any kind of issues that you have with any of these horns, we're going to be one of the best places to go to. We help them fix their own horns. They come to us with some of the repairs.
Oh, okay.
We do a lot of work with them as far as we're going to be doing a lot of work with them as far as these horns go, talking about them and everything as well. Antigua is just a fantastic company that's been here in San Antonio. It's real close to home for me. There's tons of players here in town that have been affected by them as well. So if there's any kind of, if you are looking for a reliable instrument that you know you can go to a reliable place for, Antigua and Alamo Music is going to be one of the best places you can go to for that. But either way, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything like that, please leave a comment. We do appreciate it. It helps us in the long run. If you want to leave what kind of horn you got, or if there's any kind of interesting Antigua instrument that you want to see, please let me know. We're going to be having the other saxophones come up very soon. And we're also going to look into their Voci line, which I am very excited about. Well, hey, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.